Blog Talk Radio.
Blue break, beat Flores, ultimate breaks and beats. The way I was raised, you only held accountable for what you know. Check it, they try to tell me the original man, he wasn't born on this indigenous land. I give them pilgrims a hand, they be resilient when they building the plan. I got the skills to reveal it's a scam, so here I am. It's more of science, and the more you apply, the more these devils find it hard to deny. The more they won't even try, the more they won't be stealing deeds and hide, because the Moors will be bringing the
Welcome back to Civil Alert Radio. This is your host, well, I should say co-host, and Asha, and we will have Brother Sabir-bey joining us. Tonight we will be speaking with our master teacher, Taj Tarik Bey, along with Hannibal-bey and Sabir, and some invited guests. In the show we'll be highlighting the origins of the Moorish Order of the Roundtable, the Great Seal Association of Moorish Affairs, and some other things regarding propaganda, chattel property labels, and some legal and international issues that many people have a concern about. So please stay tuned, and we will be back shortly.
Blue break, beat Flores, ultimate breaks and beats. The way I was raised, you only held accountable for what you know. Check it, they try to tell me the original man, he wasn't born on this indigenous land. I give them pilgrims a hand, they be resilient when they building the plan. I got the skills to reveal it's a scam, so here I am. It's more of science, and the more you apply, the more these devils find it hard to deny. The more they won't even try, the more they won't be stealing deeds and
Apologies, everyone. We have a couple of technical difficulties. As you all know, many of you probably know, this is our first, I should say our second show. So, I just messed up a little bit with that music, but I'm back, and I'll bring Sabir on.
Peace. What's going on?
Sabir, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Welcome back to Civil Alert.
Wow, man. You know what? It's crazy. I got to get used to this blog talk thing. I'm used to radio. I'm used to real radio. This blog talk.
This is a simulation. I'm getting used to it too.
Yeah, man. We got to get used to this because I like it being under my control, like going into a studio. You know what I mean? But it's neither here nor there. But I did want everybody to hear that piece that actually just got interrupted. We had some, like she said, technical difficulties, you know what I mean, because I really wanted people to hear what Black Dot was saying in that track. He said, the Moors were bringing the light. You know what I mean? So that whole piece, you know what I mean, he said they won't be stealing deeds and homes, you know what I mean? So big up to my man Black Dot, you know what I mean? So, welcome back to one of the I would say, baddest talk show / radio show. You know what I mean? I'm telling y'all, if nobody have ever heard my shows before, I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. I did this since 2003 on Real Radio. So it's just nothing new that I'm doing here. Just that I want to thank my co-host, Santasha, because she was the one that actually pushed me to really go back to do radio again. And I was wary because I didn't want to do blog talk because I looked at it as not real radio. But I had to give a platform for our people again, so we can voice our opinions and basically not shun anybody. Because most of these cats on these blog talks, these radio shows, Ustreams, whatever you want to call it, radio period, from my experience in doing radio, they were always block callers. This is not what we do here at Civil Alert. We let everybody call in and have their voice heard, be it if you disagree, if you agree. You know what I mean? But I would always say, get your facts right before you call into the show. We don't deal with opinions, we deal with factology. So this is what this program is about. I'm laying it back out for everybody to call in. So I want to thank my co-host, Santasha, always, he's putting it down. See, this sister does a lot of work for me, so I can't pressure her anymore, but she gets it done. Trust me. There's a lot of people. I want to thank my Mexican family, so-called, and I'm saying so-called because we're going to get into that, so-called Mexican family that's out there listening, our Latino family that's listening, my people that's in Africa, if you're in the UK listening, who has been following me for years on radio. So all these things that we're going to address. And I want to thank my brother Taj. He's like my father, basically, because we're going to go into a lot of things pertaining to the Moorish Science Temple, pertaining to all the Moors anti-government, which we can never be anti-government. Are the Moors, what is the Moors Order, the Roundtable, how it got started, when it got started. We're going to talk about the Great Seal Association of Moorish Affairs, all these things that we're going to build on. So get ready for a hell of a show. Like I said, this is the only show you're going to ever hear. I don't care what kind of radio show you on, you ain't going to hear this type of talk. So I want to also give a shout-out to our sponsors and the Zulu Nation. I want to actually give a shout-out to the Zulu Nation for sponsoring the show. Always big up to my brother, Africa Bambaataa, who's always been putting his work down, and peace in your travels. So always, always, always give a shout-out to my sponsors. And with that, we're going to take a quick break, come back, bring my brother Hannibal in. For those that never heard Hannibal, Hannibal is Brother Taj Tarik's son, which is another brother I studied under for years, and also my father/brother, Taj Tarik Bey. And with that, we'll be right back with your man Sabir-bey on Civil Alert. Right back.
Hey, Sabir, before we go on break, tell me a little bit about Dougie's. I hear that Dougie Fresh has a chicken and waffle spot.
Yeah. I mean, this is, it's funny because Dougie Fresh has a hell of a restaurant that's in Harlem. You know what I mean? I don't have the exact address. You got the address? Because this restaurant has been taking years, and we're going to talk about that too, but Dougie Fresh restaurant is in Harlem. It's in the heart of Harlem, and what this brother's done, he's actually employing everybody that's in the neighborhood. This is what I love about him. You know what I mean? And the restaurant is fire. So it has chicken and waffles, which everybody know that, actually it started back east. A lot of people don't know that. It started back east before it came out the West Coast. West Coast got it late. But chicken and waffles is what Dougie Fresh has, and he also has a vegetarian plate. If for those that is vegetarians, it's right in the Harlem of the heart of Harlem, and right at
132nd and 7th Avenue.
Yeah. I mean, I took a tour through there about probably 2 years ago, and it's hot. I mean, he had a VIP room. I believe it was downstairs. I mean, the big screen TVs. And like I said, if you're in Harlem, go check him out. Tell him you heard it on Civil Alert. Holler at Doug, because Doug's still doing his thing. He's actually opened up a store. He never left the hood. He's in the hood, and employing our people. So big up to Doug.
Okay, and for the sake of time, maybe we should just go into introduction of the hosts that'll be here, and I'll bring them on.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we spoke about
our guests. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, we said that. Are we ready for the tracks? I mean, we got Brother Taj coming in. I always said that. I don't like to be redundant with it with certain things, but Taj is coming in. He's my master teacher. You know what I mean? I came under a brother by the name of Kamar Gabriel who introduced me to Taj. So if any, and I validate Taj with that, and he validates me, and he keeps me focused and keep me on the path that I'm on. And this is why we do what we do. And anytime, and actually Taj used to do radio with me in Philadelphia. We used to do a talk show, but Taj was actually the host. He was coming in. And like I said, if I ever had an opportunity to get somewhere, I would always bring Taj in. He's one of the teachers that they don't even build upon. We can talk about Renoko Rashidi. We can build about Oswald Kwesi. We can talk about all these other people, all these so-called, scholars. But this one brother that they do not build on, and Brother Taj is a handful, and he's our elder, and he's another one that needs to be looked out for always. You know what I mean? You can never, and I hear a lot of people trying to throw dirt on his name and say this, but he keeps it humble. I'm not humble like that with him, because if you come at any of my elders, I'm going to come at you, be it if it's the Moorish Science Temple of America, be it if you're a non-believer. Like I said here, we talk about dealing with facts. That's about it. This is all we talk about is dealing with facts. If you don't like the truth, if you're scared of the truth, if you're scared to challenge the powers that be, so-called powers that be, then go sit down somewhere. Go back to church. You know, just sit down and just, you know, go praise whoever you go praise. We don't deal with that. We deal with science. That's it. And Brother Hannibal, he's another handful. That's some stuff.
A handful like yourself, or?
Oh man, Hannibal, he's another humble brother. I mean, we all came, but we cut from the same cloth. You know what I mean? So, you know, he's another humble brother. You know, we've been doing this for so long. You know, we're not into the game of pimping our people. That's not what we do, like most people do. You know, you got cats that pimp our people, be it, you know, they was on, somewhere else and they trying to come onto the conscious side or whatever which way. You know, they trying to pimp our people. That's it. We never sold paperwork to anybody. Our paperwork were free. You know, and you only paid for your documents. That's all. Our mission was always, which was taught to me by Brother Taj, is to educate the people and keep it moving. You know, and that's it. That's all this movement is about. And people started seeing money in it, and people started coming towards and say, "Look, we can make money off of this." You know what I mean? Oh, what's up? You know, or make a film on it or whatever. You know what I mean? Come on. Okay. And the real people are not benefiting from it.
Okay, and with that said, I'll bring Brother Taj on.
Yes, brother, you got my name. Islam, peace, shalom, and all that other stuff. Peace, Brother Taj.
Islam, Brother Taj, how are you?
Brother. How you feeling, sis?
Yes,
a lot of good
very
things
well.
Yes. I encourage you to continue your good work, too.
Yeah. So this brother, actually, again, I want to reiterate, I want to say that this brother here has taught me, like I said, a lot of people in this movement, you know, and I never strayed away, you know what I mean, from dealing with Africa Bambaataa, and Taj knows this, from being around guys like KRS-One, we are mad humble, you know what I mean, we don't get caught up in chasing the dollar. If that was the case, I could have went to mainstream radio and made dollars if it was about that, you know, stop chasing cotton. We used to pick up cotton, then we chase cotton. Think about it. But, you know, our mission was always for the people. You laughing? You know, but we used to always...
I got that.
You got it, right? All right. So we always, you know, would chase the dollar. And this brother, long as I've known him, he's never been that way. And we went through all our trials and tribulations, trust me, of being kidnapped by these corporate enforcers. Or what you call them, Taj?
They're Roman soldiers. That's what they are.
Roman soldiers. And without further ado, we have Brother Taj. So, Taj, man, tell us a little bit about the how and what was the Moorish Order of the Roundtable for those that don't know. Do we have Brother Hannibal on the line too? Do we have Brother Hannibal?
Yes, he should be coming on if he's not on yet. I'm in upper state New York territory, and he's down in Sheffield, what they call Jersey territory right now. But we talked up before he came on, so he should be on. Anyway,
I believe he's coming on now.
The Moorish Order of the Roundtable, I initially founded in 1982, although we had been doing classes loosely before then. In 1982, that's when officially I became naturalized in the Moorish Science Temple of America. And my major motivation of founding the Roundtable was due to the fact that it didn't take me too long to recognize that certain fundamental principles that Noble Drew Ali had set up for the Moors to do for progress amongst the people, as well as for enforcing the Constitution as a foundation at the center of the movement, was being oppressed, suppressed, depressed, and denied by many of the persons who allegedly claim to be leaders and sheiks in the movement. And I recognize that when you begin to get into these things, it creates controversy, and they'd rather take what you would call low road. So I founded the Roundtable so I would not be under that jurisdiction, so they couldn't shut me up. And that's why the Roundtable was founded, although I still continue to go to the temple.
And you know what, and this is what I'm saying, this is why I'm the way I am. You know, a lot of people in these Moorish Science Temples or any other group, you know, they don't understand what we're trying to bring to people. We're trying to bring we know everything about our history, so-called history, nothing about the laws. So the Moorish Order of the Roundtable, what I loved about it, and I was there, you know, we all was there. We used to get out of there like, Oh, yeah. Brother Hannibal just texted me and said, switch him in. But, Santasha, what I loved about the Moorish Order of the Round Table, we were attacking a lot of issues. And I'm talking about, I'm going back like, and I can always count because how old my son is, it's like 13 years ago. So, the Moorish Order of the Round Table was attacking tax issues, foreclosure issues, drivers issues, all these things. And what happened, the Moorish Science Temple, people were looking for that because they're saying we are part and parcel to the state government, and why are we subject to a foreign entity, which is,
Can anyone hear me?
The colonizers, so this is what we were trying to educate our people, and in educating our people, it's like we find that we're fighting our people, saying, look, this is your land, just as well as the Mexicans, just like and I don't like to say Mexican, the so-called Mexicans, because we are the original people that was on this land. The Mandingos also was here, which was our ancestors. But I'm going to let Brother Taj finish, building about the round table. And I want to ask you, Taj, could you please clarify about the Moors being anti-government and what government,
Can anyone hear me? Can anyone hear me?
Yes, Hannibal?
We can hear you.
Hannibal?
Oh, y'all can hear me.
Yeah, we got Brother Hannibal on the line also. Brother Pete, for listening, this is Brother Hannibal, Brother Taj's son, too. We're going to have Brother Hannibal chime in also. We're going to talk about the whole masonry and different stuff also. Well, Brother Taj, go ahead, continue.
Islam, I always say, Sabir, when you look back, the easiest way to dispel that fraud that has come from mostly foreign Europeans pretending to be Americans, because they're Europeans, they're not Americans, who are operating from what J. Edgar Hoover and Calvin Coolidge call COINTELPRO, co-intelligence, or try to suppress the Moorish movement. The best way to dispel that is to read directly from Noble Drew Ali's own words. And here's an excerpt. This is for all the listeners and the brothers and sisters in Mexico, in Puerto Rico, the Puerto Rican, in all the islands, in Cuba, South America, etc., North America, in the UK, in Africa, etc., etc., etc. This is Noble Drew Ali's words, which I'm going to quote. And this gives the heart of the movement and dispels any false claims of persons claiming to the contrary. I quote here from the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, quote, unquote, I am hereby calling on all true citizens that stand for a national free government and the enforcement of the Constitution to help me in my great missionary work, because I need all support from all true American citizens of the United States of America. Help me to save my people who have fallen from the constitutional laws of government. I am depending on your support to get them back to the constitutional fold again, that they will learn to love instead of hate, and will live according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, supporting our free national Constitution of the United States of America. I love my people, and I desire for their unity and mine back to their own national and divine standard, because by day they have been violating the national and constitutional laws of their government by claiming names and principles that are unconstitutional, unquote. That's an excerpt from the divine warning by the prophet for the nations, and it's very clear that at the heart of the Moorish movement, period, because he tells you exactly what the mission is, and at the heart of the mission is to enforce our Constitution for the United States of America and to bring the people back into the constitutional fold of government that they may learn to love instead of hate. Therefore, they must learn Constitution law, the principles of national government, the diversity principle as expressed in Article 3, Section 2, because they are a nation and there's requirements to answer up to constitutional principles. This is why Noble Drew Ali registered the Moorish Holy Temple of Science as a civic organization in 1925 and taught government. And you'll see a lot of agents from COINTELPRO working for J. Edgar Hoover who infiltrated will tell the people that there's never been any civic instruction in the Moorish movement, which, of course, by the very record is false. That's why one of the important things that I did concerning that controversy was reproduce a lot of the script from a lecture I did in '84, and that's in the book, addressing misunderstandings of the Moorish movement. But also for the listeners, I would note these particular things because this is gives anyone who wants to do research a guideline without bias in order to see who's really supporting the Moorish movement, because there's a lot of divisions, but it's easy to recognize the divisions. But one of the things that people need to know, what are the motivations for those divisions so they can have a clear understanding. And this should be taken.
Now, I want y'all to give me a moment, too, because I'm going to go in on that.
Yes.
Okay, we got you. Go ahead,
they
Todd.
should take note. Now, as far as looking at nations, movements, activities, etc., number one should always be very clear of its purpose or cause for establishment and its cause for existence. That would be a measuring point. And two, one should also study its purpose and cause for establishment and existence in order to recognize counter activities initiated by opposing persons, whether they're inside or outside of the movement or the nation. And this is a principle that would be applied logistically universally. And so, as you can see, Noble Drew Ali said, enforce the Constitution for the United States of America, and that is at the heart of the Moorish mission, which is stated by his words. So it's easy for someone to see why some persons who claim to be grand chiefs of the Moorish movement are counterintelligence and claim that there's no constitutional law instruction to be had in the Moorish Science Temple of America. So you can see by the Prophet's own words that they're COINTELPRO members. But if a person doesn't know the cause, of the movement, one gets caught up in the arguments. You see the point?
Yes. And you know what? It's deep. And now, I heard nothing anti-government in it. Nothing anti-government.
Of course. It's pro-government. It's pro-government. It's absolutely pro-government.
Now, Brother Hannibal, I'm going to bring you in a minute. Let me put you on. We got to go in a break at 10 o'clock, but I'm going to get you in a second. But what I'm going to build on, because I really want to get this out for the listening audience to understand. Like I said, only on Civil Alert you're going to hear this. You're going to hear it's not going to be blocked out. So we're going to go in. So we're going to have the callers calling a little later on, about another probably 20 minutes. But the thing is that we have to understand that this was a government. All right, we have to understand that we are a government. This is a national divine movement talking about Constitution. Most of these organizations or these groups that is out here don't know one thing about the Constitution, nothing. And you're not part of the Constitution if you don't have a national identity. And what happens, you have people like Brother Todd said, the COINTELPRO who comes in. This is not a divine and national religious movement. This is a divine national movement, which is dealing with nationality, but like everyone else. I was watching a couple movies. One was called Machete, and I was looking at another movie. They was talking nationalizing the oil. About the oil, it was some type of show that was on TV. That's what we need to be doing amongst each other. I mean, as a nation, all these other, and nationality is the order of today. For someone to fall into the trap of saying these group of people are anti-government when you don't understand the structures of government. There's three parts of government. You got federal, state, and local government. So what government are we in total violation of? And all these governments came after the fact. They came after. This movement's been here. This is why even to the day you cannot prosecute a priest. People understand, how can a priest not be prosecuted for touching a child when he can run into a church? Watch these mob movies. When priests do something,
I can explain that exactly why.
Taj, but I'm saying for the listener audience, I want you to explain that. But this is what happens. We don't understand that these Catholic churches are operating under this law called the canon law. This is why they can do what they want to do, run into a Catholic church, which is a sovereign ground, they call it, and you cannot be touched. They move one priest from one parish to another parish. And this is what if we're saying we're part and partial, this is the same way. We've been here before these Europeans. We've been before the Roman Catholic Church got here. So,
for the people that may not know, please explain what part and parcel is.
yes, Taj, good.
Part and parcel means that the foundation, or what you would call the ordinance principles upon which this government that you call the United States Republic is founded on Muslim law, which I know a lot of people who did not know that heard Obama mention when he went to Egypt, when he went to Cairo, Egypt, and he told the world that the United States law is based on Muslim, United States Constitution is based on Muslim law. Now, all your leaders know this, but the masses are generally unaware because it's not taught in school. The real history of the United States has been neutered, except for people who belong in secret societies. And this is another reason why some of the persons who claim to be, how would you say, sheiks in the Moorish Science Temple of America, why some of them get upset when we expose that information, because once people start doing research, it will expose them as COINTELPRO members immediately, because the people can see that they're actually countering the prophet. And parcel is a legal term, means a large part of land, which means these people are both part of the government and they're on their own land. Essentially, that's what it means. And you'll see that some COINTELPRO members tried to alter Prophet Drew Ali's divine law and constitution and change parcel into partial, which is provable by the microfilm, which is provable by the microfilm records, because I went to Chicago and went through the microfilms into the archive. I know what it says. And what they did, they were countering Noble Drew Ali. This is one of the reasons why, unfortunately, a lot of good Moors in the temple, and this is unfortunate, get painted with that black brush of treachery and traitorship when there's a lot of good Moors in the temples all across the country. And because they're silent, meaning they don't necessarily have a forum, people assume that they don't know or assume that they're traitors too, but it's not true. Most of the treachery is amongst the leadership.
You give me a chance, I'll go in.
Yeah, but we're gonna go into that when we come back from this break. We're gonna bring Brother Hannibal in to actually talk about the Masonic side of this movement.
Well, we can let Brother Hannibal come in. We have a lot of callers already on the line, several who have questions, so we might as well just do like last week.
Brother Hannibal in. Let me bring Brother Hannibal in, because I did want to have it structured as far as dealing with these things. But go ahead, let's bring Brother Hannibal in. Like I said, only on Civil Alert, and this is just the tip of the iceberg on who we're going to have on this show, because I'm going to have a whole lot of host of people, and hopefully I think my man Mel Jackson is calling in too. But for those that didn't see the film Stick Up Kids, I would suggest you go get it. The Stick Up Kids was building about the Moors being here and how we was the original free white persons in a movie. This is a movie. You know what I mean? And I'm going to have Hawthorne James. We got a whole lot of people that's going to be coming in building on this. This is just the beginning of Civil Alert coming back. But Brother Hannibal, welcome to Civil Alert. What's good, bro?
Hey. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Father Dr. Hannibal-bey. I am a Grand Priest. I'm also a traveling man. Of course, I'm Brother Taj's son. Everybody hear me?
Yeah, we got you, brother.
Yes, we can hear you. Loud and clear.
All right. Now, the reason why I say I want to go in, because I love the fact my father had taught that, and I always keep saying to His Grace, thank you so much, for being my father and teaching me a lot of things. I'm gonna have to go in a little bit, and some of this stuff y'all may not have heard, or I got this from the elders, but I basically use the mechanics that my father had taught me on how to study and how to seek truth. Now, talking about the COINTEL and all the other individuals that got into the movement. Now, I'm going to be vague on one of the stories. One person got shot, and the statement of, get your hands out of my pocket. All right. So when Prophet Drew Ali, I want y'all to follow me here, when he passed through conspiracy, there was a brother who was going to start a movement that was opposite of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Dude got pulled off the corner selling Moorish nationality cards and made a back deal with the government. And he didn't teach the national side, but he gave the religious side. Y'all can fill that in. All right? So now, I wanted to say this. We got agents in this movement, and y'all need to be clear, and they doing their job well. Because like my father would always say, and he remind us, he always say, the nigger industry is a big business. And this is why I backed off a little bit, and I basically teach the children. Because you have individuals who infiltrated in the movement. And I always say it on Facebook, too. You know, I drop truth, but I also tell people, don't friend me. And now I'm going to go in and I'm going to tell you why. Because I also say this, too, I read the police report, or so-called FBI reports that they had on me and my father. And when we had meetings, we didn't have no Johnny Blue-Eyed Smith, blonde hair in our face. We had people that looked like us. Y'all hear me?
Yeah.
So you got agents in the movement. Now, y'all study all those who are unconscious just as well as conscious. You go all into all these damn conspiracies, knew how Martin got knocked off, knew how Malcolm, knew how they got rid of Marcus, and some know the story about Joe Ali. Well, you should see the pattern, and you should recognize it. Now that should explain to you why you got these divisive groups in the Moorish movement. Because my question was, what I told my brother Sabir, where were they 20-something damn years ago? We didn't have nobody really go against the Moorish movement. The only person that did, he's in jail right now. He wrote a book on Noble Joe Ali in '88. And he had said the Moors died off. But in the mid-'90s, he got his hands on my book and my father's literature. And then all of a sudden, it was everybody know the details. He left New York and then went down to what's the name. Basically, he had to run, for what I understood, and went down south and set up his whole thing and came up with some damn name Nuwabian. But yet, and I got proof. Anybody got the book on Noble Joe Ali that Imam Mesa wrote? He said the Moors died off. Then why all of a sudden by mid-'90s you jumped in, now you got your whole Moorish movement? The nigger industry is a big business. Your enemy ain't the European, your own.
Say it again, Hannibal. Please, brother, say that again, man.
Your own. Your own is at you. Now, I'm going to drop this, too. Now, because I'm going to give you a little background, too. I'm also a traveling man, but by grace of the Creator.
Explain to people, Brother Hannibal, but for those that don't understand, because some people don't understand that traveling man.
A traveling man is just another code name of saying a Mason, a brother Mason, Moorish American and Mason, you know. Now,
but hold on, brother. How could you be? Hold up, brother. How could you be a Moorish American and a Mason, bro? There's contradiction.
Well, that's also part of our culture. That's why I had no problem going in. But let me give you the history on why I finally went in, because I was being drawn in back in the early '90s. There was a brother, his name was Hannibal-bey. God rest his soul. May Allah rest his soul. He's a sweet brother. He moved from New York, came down. He was learning from Father and Roundtable and everything. And somehow we lost contact and he passed. Anyway, they were going to try to make me be a part of their lives, but I couldn't go in for the simple fact I was a conscious free man. Plus him and his other people, they were coming in, so they were still unconscious. An unconscious person cannot raise a free man. All right. Yep. So, because that's part of basic Masonic law. You got to be 21 years old and you got to be a man. You know what I mean? You got to be a legal citizen. So this is why the Europeans didn't recognize the Asiatics as Masons, because they're Negroes. Negroes don't have a nationality. I had to break this down to another brother real quick before I go into the story. I really want to tell you why I went in '99. I ran into a guy I used to always look up to as a teenager, and I had my car, I was getting it fixed, and I had like two houses. Two houses are Masonic symbols you put on the back of your car. So he's seen it. He's seen that I had the sovereign, which was the 33rd degree, and the basic Masonic symbol on it. He said, "Oh, you got a lot of light on there." He said, so where you coming from? He just talked to me a little bit. And I said, well, he's saying, "Oh, you were Farrakhan and them?" I said, "No, I'm a Moorish American." I said, "I have a nationality." And when Masons get ready to go all into asking questions and stuff, you can cut all of that. You know what I mean? So you don't have to play that gibberish, because we are Moors. We're on law. We don't play all those head games. You say yours for mine. And when you say that, that means they got to reach in their car, pull out all their credentials. Same thing if it was a Moorish American. They got to pull out their nationality, they sit on the table, and whatever the Masonic stuff, and I threw mine out. So I had my nationality card plus my Masonic passport. Now, when he seen that, he was like, oh, and he seen I had my turban on. And, and I explained it to him, and he was like a 32nd degree. So basically I explained to him, I'm like, you are Negro. You don't have a nationality. And he thought because I was a 33rd, I had a passport. And I was like, no, I got that at the 3rd degree. I have a nationality. So a free man gets a passport. A Negro Mason gets dues cards. This is why a lot of them, when they went to make Hajj, they would get stopped. When a Mason gets a 32nd degree and they want to make Hajj over there, they get stopped by them brothers and them in security and all. And they then got to make a call and talk to their worshipful master, what have you, because they Negroes, as opposed to somebody has a nationality. You got a passport, all right, they know you're free, you got a nationality. I just want to drop that on y'all real quick. Now, let me get back to 99. When I finally went in, this was the talk. And I want to give you all a vivid, detailed understanding what went on before the turn of the century, so you know what's happening. And then it'll back up what I'm saying. I want to go in about these daggone agent provocateurs that's in the movement.
And out the movement.
There was talk. there was talk from the from the House of the Temple. That's the Supreme Council in Washington, D.C. That is the head throne of the 33rd degree. They keep records, and I dare say, of all 33rds around the world at that place. Y'all need to go. Matter of fact, because me and the brother Clifford Ezel, most Pusins, his brothers are 33rd degree. Not only 33rd, he's also a 96th degree. We had took a trip. We had took some Moors down there back in 99 and what have you. We went there in the George Washington Memorial, what's the name? So anyway, let me go back to what was being talked about at that time. They approached him and said, now when I'm saying they, I'm saying European powers to be. They were ready to start giving land and money to us Moorish Americans because my father, I, Brother Hakeem, Sabir, all the head people that was really doing good stuff, Great Seal Moors, we were making some headway. We were banging and making noise, and we were on point. We were still slightly little bit of what we would say not divisive. You know, we had little groups here and there. We just had to come together, but we had made enough noise that they had that secret meeting and say we want just enough of Moorish Americans, though, to also become Eastern Stars at 33rd degree Mason. We're ready to give you some land and money. Now, let me take you back in historical memory who was in office at that time. Before we get started,
before we go any further, Hannibal, please explain what I'm saying. Is some people may know what these things mean, but I need you to explain certain things. What is an Eastern Star for those that don't understand it? What
the Eastern Star? The Eastern Star is what you may consider, I guess you can say, a female Mason or what have you. But again, I want you all to understand that whole structure is based off of basically preserving our Moorish culture because it was a part of us. The Eastern Star, in short, is again the women imitating being the Moinas or Moorish women. They wear their white feathers with the gold tassel. The Masons, they imitating being us Moors, but they only can dress as attire and communicate to each other in private.
Okay, so you're telling me all these people in the churches that like your women in the church, your judges. So you're saying all of these people, all your female judges and different people, you mean to tell me they Eastern Stars then, huh? They know about the Moorish history. That's what
a lot of them are because they have to communicate this stuff and know this. And I'll always say this to people too. This is basically what Freemasonry is, so people can understand too. Because there's another thing that make me laugh, talking about that's about devil worship and this and that, and what have you. That's bull. The system of Freemasonry is this in simple. In short, it is a beautiful system of morality veiled in allegory by signs and symbols. In general, you can see that any print. Just pick up any book. So if you're talking about learning more about morality and ethics and what have you, there's nothing wrong with that. I'd rather be around a person that's got higher, more ethics and and morals. Because if you're around somebody that don't, they'll have no problem sending you down the river.
So that's why they have to push the
people back. That's just in short. It's just in short, but there's so much more I want to tell you. But I want to get back to the real stuff I want you to understand what took place, y'all. So now, we were building Moors, we were still nationalizing Moors as usual. Father, at Roundtable, and I would do the same thing with Brother Sabir, Hakeem. And at the same time, we were then meeting up with Brother Hazel, who's in Maryland area, and we were now setting up the Moorish Rite and Freemasonry. Oh, yeah, and I found out that existed when the Brother Prophet, Drew Ali, was alive. It shut down when he died. The Mother Moors that was in the temple that sold out let it go dormant. So anyway, they were ready to give us land and money. Now, President Clinton was in office at that time, and if you go back in your memory, don't fall with this crap with them saying the Democrats, spend up all the money and the Republican this and that, and the party out such and such this and that, overspending. Our beloved president has said it once, but he don't play the games. He said, y'all got to remember, it was a Democrat that balanced the books, and you didn't have no debt. So now, Clinton balanced the books. You had no debt. Matter of fact, you had a surplus. But here's the thing. I'm telling you why. They were gearing up because you Moors have to address, the government has to address the wrong that was done to the unconscious Moors here for involuntary servitude. Every nation on this planet got recompensed for a wrong that was by another nation that was done to them. And no, you won't get, it's not reparations. It's goddamn restitution. When somebody is unjustly jailed or what have you, and they're finally exonerated or what have you, they're free, they must get restitution. Okay,
Hannibal, so now, in order to get restitution, and Brother Taj, you can probably chime in on this also, you have to have what? A nationality then, right?
Yes.
Am I right? So in order to get these things, you must have a nation and a flag and a constitution and law.
Right.
Okay, let's talk about.
Let me finish and go in. Let me finish.
Okay, yeah, but I want
to tie in what you're saying there
real
too.
Quick, go
give people history.
Okay, well we have 2 hours, so trying to get the callers in too, brother. So we trying to
yes, sir. All right. Here's another piece of history too, so they can tie in and understand it. So now that we're telling you the piece that you didn't get, and we talking about the 40 acres and the mule thing, is because you didn't have your nationality. This is fact, this is point of fact, and this is history, and it's not discussed. There was a federal bureau that the unconscious Asiatics that were freed from slavery had to go to proclaim their 40 acres and a mule. So what we generally telling you, the Moorish Science Temple is the modern version of the organization I'm about to tell you that existed during Lincoln's time. The reason why they didn't get it is because you didn't proclaim your nationality and your name. The government can't give these things back to unconscious people who are Negroes. The building or organization was called the Freedmen's Bureau. That was the organization, that was the federal branch of the government that the slaves had to go get their 40 acres in deed and their $100. And then they were also supposed to give up the slave master's name that was forced upon them and take back their national names of Il, Ali, and Bey. That was the reason why you didn't get it. And then, of course, we already know that Lincoln was bumped off for that reason because he had what Father had taught us in the Moorish Science Temple. It was a nickname called the 30-30. You were supposed to have got the Missouri Compromise. I met the Empress Ghostin back in the 90s, but she had the deed to it and what have you. We were supposed to have got damn near equivalent to 22 daggone states in the 48-state continent of the United States of America. Them Europeans wasn't going to have it. They bumped off Lincoln and then put a gun to the daggone Moor who was the vice president under Lincoln. His name was my first name. His name was Hannibal Hamlin. Put a gun to his head and generally told him to step down or die. So the president you see on the listing is right after Lincoln. He was de facto. And then he quickly had a session and revamped the 13th Amendment and took out all the monies and land and stuff that you were supposed to get. Now, here's another thing, too. Why you Moors are also tax exempt. Lincoln had put up $5 million for this pot of money because, remember, the slaves had to get paid $100. But since they did all that stuff, that money was sitting in the First Chicago National Bank. That $5 million, you know that was real money then. So since they did all of that and they changed the word slave to apprentice and never gave you the other half of what you were supposed to know, they still had this money. Then at the same time, they were conquering your brothers and sisters who you call Mexicans. All it was is just mean mixed Moors. That's just a Moorish Latin name.
I mean, this is what I want to get into. Before we go there, hold on 1 second, Hannibal. Let's cut it real quick, right? Because I want we want there now. I want these things to be aired out. I mean, I'm trying to get each person a time frame. Now, we spoke about that I want Taj also to go into this Mexican thing too. You know what I mean? Because like I said, we had working with 2 hours. You know, we're trying to get so much done. We can't get it done in 2 hours. This is just how it is.
Yeah, I understand that.
You know, but let me throw this out before we go. What Brother Hannibal was saying, and I grew up in Philadelphia, and we used to do this thing called the Track Back, and what actually is called Moorish Memorial Day, something like that, in Philadelphia. In Philadelphia, there's the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia, which around the Liberty Bell is a chapter in the Bible which states every nation must go back amongst its own and proclaim liberty. That's on the Liberty Bell that everybody goes see. Now, there's a plaque in Philadelphia with Lincoln is standing on, which we just got done speaking about. It said that this is Egypt of the West. Now, this is in Philadelphia. Now, what I'm saying here on Civil Alert, we deal with factology. We don't deal with our opinions, our beliefs. So there's a lot of things that we're saying which needs to be brought out to people. And, you know, most people, and it's like you watching news. You ever watch news when you have something that happens and then they'll go to the, I'm going to say for the sake of this, dumb people, they'll go to the dumbest or the ignorantest people and interview them and ask them what happened. You know, what is this? This is the same thing happens when things go down in this movement. They go towards the Moorish Science Temple to get their point of view instead of going to those who understand the history and the law aspect. I've never seen Brother Hannibal, Brother Taj, or Brother Pleasant Bey, or certain individual, or even Jose Pimenta Bey, you know, come out and say, this is really what this is. You know, they'll go get a person that's unaware and have them as the face of all the Moorish movement. There's no one face on this thing. But if a certain person is astute in certain things, you should interview that individual and ask the question. So I want to bring Brother Taj in, actually, and Brother Ham, you just stay on here because we're still waiting for some other people to call in. We're going to take some callers in a second to talk about the Mexican people. Let's talk about this so-called Mexican piece and what Hannibal was saying about them being mixed people. So you're listening to Civil Alert again. I'm telling you, the only place where you're going to get this real talk from. Brother Taj, what's your take on that thing about the Mexican?
Yes. Sabir, remember a few years back when you and I, and there was a few other Moors, went to that play on Chestnut Street, was the 38th and Chestnut International House?
Yeah, that was a while ago. That was like, it was 3 or 4 years ago, something like that. See, we ain't just getting into that. Yeah, I remember that.
Yes, in Philadelphia schools, they were teaching the children how to edit film, to do films and edit and do a little bit of research, and the children were assigned to do research on their respective schools, some background research, and do some films, etc. And they also had on the show Mexicans who were teaching Four Corners dance and reinstituting some of the culture to their children, a lot of which has been lost and was being lost or suppressed by Europeans. And that was the first part of the show. Remember that?
Yes.
And remember, the Mexicans came on, and they demonstrated a lot of the old culture, etc., and they had old costumes on, etc. But one of the distinct things that they did, and you recall this, was that they brought out old paintings and stuff that the Europeans did not have the opportunity to destroy. Exactly. And the Mexicans themselves said at that night in Philadelphia that the Moors were their forefathers.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. This is how deep this thing go. It's like, this is why I said that this is what we need to speak about. And then to piggyback on what Ty just said, I want people, if you have access to the internet, I want you to look up this word. It's Ikachu. I might be pronouncing this wrong. It's Ikachua. And it's EK-CHU-AH. And I'm going to repeat that again. It's EK-CHU-AH. And what it means the Mayan god of commerce. It means the Mayan god of commerce. Now, the Mandingos, like again, the Moors were already here. This is pre-Columbian we're talking about. Pre-Columbian. So when they started mixing and amalgamating with the Spanish, then you have the people we have today.
Yes.
Pre-Columbian, actually.
Yes. And the other deal, this is another thing that people in general need to know about Masonry. When you're talking about Masonry, the different organizations of Masons, or what they call Freemasons, You look at they're simply preserving and imitating the Moors.
Exactly.
And the foundation of the sublime knowledge that is preserved in those different houses in different degrees, etc., essentially the great body of it was introduced to the Europeans by the Moors through the Renaissance in earlier centuries, but they will record in the history books the 13th century to the 16th century, the Renaissance. And the Europeans who are educated are referred to as Renaissance men. And this is really, that study is really what Masonry is. And it includes architecture, alchemy, cosmology, astrology, mathematics, chemistry, anatomy, astronomy, etc., the elements, metals, transforming heavy metals into gold, a whole bunch of different sciences, both what you call your hard sciences and also your metaphysical sciences, etc. And that's the truth of what Masonry is, and also the real history of the human development on the planet, including the truth of religion. And most of them know that the masses don't get religion, the masses get dogma. And in fact, those Masons are true religionists, and the people that follow in the church, most of the preachers are Masons, but they condemn it across the pulpit, while they themselves have the truth and hold the truth secret from the people and live off the people.
See what I'm saying? So this is why I wanted to start this show back, because we have to clarify who is in this lies. You know what I mean? So we have judges. You know what I mean? The Fraternal Order of Police itself, the symbols on the Fraternal Order of Police is the handshake, the eye, and the five-pointed star. So it's not that we are against anything. We just bringing y'all the facts. We trying to get people.
We're against fraud. We're against fraud in government. And to make it very distinguished, the issue is the abuses that have been put upon the people and that are now being imposed upon the people are demos of the order of the Jesuit order, deputy knights of the barristers, claiming democracy, when they know Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution for the United States of North America commands only a republican form of government for every state in the Union. And that's what we oppose. We oppose the traitors within government and the traitors amongst our own who have been sucking off of our people and pretending to be government when in fact they're de facto.
Wow. Wow. We got a lot of stuff. We got a couple more.
This real quick.
Okay, because we ready to go on a break, brother. So hurry up real quick so I try to see if my co-host.
Yeah, it's good for me real quick.
Yes, I am.
All right, we ready for our break right after this comment?
Yeah, what I wanted to highlight was when he was saying about that, one of the so-called founding fathers of the United States, which was Benjamin Franklin, had mentioned, we gave you a republic form of government if you can keep it. He damn near said that in quotes, so anybody can see that. So you don't want no democracy. A democracy only gives the common people one form of voting power. A republic form of government gives the common people 3 forms of voting power. With that, we can go to commercial.
Let's go beyond that. The military, the very military document that's in military training declares that democracy is a mob rule. And that republic is statesmanship. It's right in the military document. In the military training, they say democracy is anarchy. So they know exactly what they're doing.
I got it right here.
Okay, hold up. We're gonna, because we're talking over each other. Hold up. Okay, so republic, which means back to the people, and even when one says, "I pledge allegiance to the flag and to the republic for which it stands," or Article 4 states, "In every state of the Union guarantees a republican form of government." So this is what we learn and what we teach to our people. It's nothing anti anything. So we trying to stress this and say, look, we dealing with the fact.
Look at this, Sabir. Look at this, Sabir. And this is what's really important for everybody to recognize. It doesn't matter what either one of them means. The issue is that there's nothing in the lawful papers of the establishment of this government that establishes anything called a democracy. Therefore, the discussion is closed.
Exactly. Thank you. But we're going to go to this break real quick. We ready for our breaks, Natasha, and come back with some callers?
Yes, we are.
Yes, sir. Yes. We listen to Silver Alert. Man, this thing is getting heated up, boy. I told you.
And
the baddest show, man, is coming. We'll be right back.
For everyone who wants to call in, it's 858-357-8450. Again, it's 858-357-8450. We'll be back in a moment.
Okay, now listen to this. A mystical teacher sat by the seaside. It was about 5 o'clock because we heard the free ride. Anyway, the teacher was talking in stride, sitting upon a rock that was wide, warning against false pride. "Come to where I reside," a woman cried, and the teacher replied, "Do you serve your fish fried?" "Yes," she replied, "with potato salad on the side," and the teacher replied, "Well, where do you reside?" She said, "Up on the hillside. It's not a far ride. If you came to have dinner, I would be so gratified." The teacher replied, "At 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, you decide." She replied, 7 o'clock, do you like stir-fried?" She was mystified and felt so dignified. The teacher was coming to the house where she resides. So she purified with pesticides. Called her friends up nationwide. Some of her friends were tongue-tied. They felt so glorified. She made steamed fish, baked fish, fish that was fried, soup, steamed vegetables, potato salad on the side. You could smell the bread in the oven far and wide, natural juices and water purified. Organic fruits brought from the countryside with silver forks and knives placed side by side. You could not be dissatisfied. Looking out the window, staring at the mountainside, you would have died. 6:59, she's swollen with pride. As the moment intensified, there's a knock from outside. She opens the door, for the teacher has arrived. But to her surprise, it was a bum who cried, "Please, I smelt the bread from outside. One piece." And then she replied, "The teacher is coming. He's soon to have arrived. You're making me look bad. Come on now, step aside." The bum then replied, "When I say I'm hungry, I haven't lied. Give me some of that chicken that you just fried." She replied, "Chicken? Fried? No, that's for the teacher. You're not purified." Then she slammed the door and went back inside. Sat on the couch with the TV guide. She looked at the clock. It was 7:09 and 7:30. He still hasn't arrived. 8 o'clock, she's on the downside. 9 o'clock, by now she's teary-eyed. She's pissed off and her anger multiplied. She cried and fell asleep dissatisfied. Next day she woke up and was preoccupied with meeting the mystical teacher who lied. Where could he hide? She ran down by the seaside. He was there teaching about false pride. "You lied," she replied. "You lied. You said you'd be there at 7 o'clock. You lied." He replied, "No, I have not lied. I came at 6:59 and you told me to move aside. I asked for bread and the chicken that was fried. And you said that I wasn't purified." She replied, "I wasn't notified. I had no idea that you was the bum that cried." And the teacher sighed, then replied, "This concludes our lesson on false pride."
Welcome back to Civil Alert, man. Yo, did y'all get, I love Kara's one. Did you get the moral of the story? The moral of the story was that we're looking for someone to look good. We're looking for the devil wears Prada. We're looking for somebody to speak swell. We're looking for somebody wearing a suit. Remember, the people who are running around here with these suits and ties, the preachers, attorneys, and all these, that's the false pride right there. But we give all our revenue to them. When you have the average person walks amongst you, this is what the prophets do. They walk with the people, not above the people. And this is what we do. We walk with the people. We don't walk above anybody. So we give all our money to them. And that's a hell of a story. Y'all can look it up also on YouTube because that's a hell of a piece, which has been out for a long time. And Karis one, even from building with him, he would always drill me on staying humble, walk with people, build with people. But for some reason, we don't get the finances that we need to get done. So this is why we started the show. And also, I want to put this out there for anybody looking for any of my videos. You can go to my website, Sabir-bey.com. Sabir-bey.com. Please, if you want to donate, if you look at, you want to actually sponsor a show, or if you want to advertise, we'll give out the number at the end of the show. So, Natasha, are we ready for the callers?
Yes, and also, we have a question from a brother that posted here in the room, and he states here that we definitely need to understand the National Defense Authorization Act and how it pertains to blacks, Negroes, colored Moors, and the slave code. Can you all elaborate and answer that? Brother Taj?
Very, very, very fundamental. And the best way to, say, satisfy someone who doesn't understand the fundamentals is to look at the rights of indigenous people, which Obama just signed, And this is where the nations of the earth keep declaring, and they've done it in about 5 different sets of laws continuously to address these people in North America, saying that these people have a right to their nationality, and no one can arbitrarily interfere with their right to correct or change their nationality. Study the rights of indigenous people, and it's self-evident. Because in order for the rights that apply to humans to apply to our people for national and international protection, we must be in what is known universally as the honor of your mothers and your fathers. Or for those who are dealing with what they call dogma doctrine, it would say the time has come for every nation to confess his own and worship under his own vine and fig tree. It means the same thing.
Okay. So we have any callers on the line? I mean,
yes.
Yes.
Yes, our first caller 219, you're live on Silver Alert. Please state your name and where you're calling from. Hello, caller?
We don't. Caller, are you on the line? All right, let's keep it moving. Call back.
Okay, caller 706, you're live with Silver Alert. Please state your name and where you're calling from. Wow. I guess we can move forward.
Okay, we move forward. Okay, moving forward. I guess it is listening. I mean, don't be afraid to call in or say something. Moving forward. Next caller.
Okay.
How you doing?
Peace.
Hey, caller 86.
Peace.
Welcome to Silver Alert. Please state your name and where you're calling from.
Hey, this is Brother Lewis from Connecticut.
Peace. How are you?
How you feeling, family?
I'm good, thank you. My question was, how you doing? My question was in terms of nationality. How do you proclaim that? What's the proper way? Do you do that through your temple? Do you do that through the county, or is there a particular way that is best in terms of doing that is seen by the powers that be as official?
All right, very, very clear. This particular principle of nationalization of people in the Western Hemisphere is so vitally important to not only this government but to the nations of the earth, that those who should be doing the job have put it this way, are under a lot of pressure to sell out, and those who are supposed to inform the people have been neutralized for the most part, which is why your question even exists, because it should be a common practice. Because the people that are to be nationalized are actually the heirs, direct heirs apparent of this great estate of the Maghrib el-Aqsa, which is under the occupation of the popes of Rome, under the religious corporation, private foreign corporation known as the United States Corporation, with a 501c3 registered in Delaware. And so what it is that the people who have been benefiting from your servitude are not too anxious to come out and tell you the truth. Now, the Moorish Holy Temple of Science was established to do that job, which is why J. Edgar Hoover infiltrated in order to neutralize the national side of the movement, which is why you're asking that question now, which made it difficult. And, of course, because of what is known as the Great Sellout, there were also honorable Moors who maintained the cause of the movement, and one of those body groups was also the Great Seal National Association of Moorish Affairs. As a matter of fact, that's why that was established, to carry out the law, the national side of the Moorish movement, enforcing the Constitution as prescribed by Noble Drali in the Divine Warning by the Prophet for the Nations. Now, the real deal is that the temples are actually consular orders, but that is not taught to the people. However, that's what Great Seal is for. And you have a lot of other conscious Moors from different other orders who've been working independent of some of the people who've been suppressing this information in order to get that done. But
okay,
once
Taj,
you're conscious, understand that it's a birthright.
Taj, let me interject real quick, because he just asked how can he proclaim his nationality, I'm explaining. I know, but
this is
I got you.
Why we put, this is another reason why we put the the papers on the website free to anyone, because the issue is it's a birthright, which means it's not a privilege, which means no one owns it over you. And so once you're conscious, you can declare on your own, make it for the public record. See, the key is publishing, whether you did it with the county or anywhere else. The key is to be publishing. Now, one of the things that Drew Ali did, and I'm going to tell you what it is right now, quote, unquote. Drew Ali said, the greatest weapon in the hands of our group today in America is our own press. The truth will never be told about a disadvantaged minority by the general press of any country, whether that minority be racial, political, or religious. And unless we express ourselves through papers of our own, the truth about us will not be told. And our papers are our only hope of shuffling ourselves out from under the avalanche of lies that are annually let loose upon us. And a strong free press is the best possible safeguard of the liberties and general promotion and defense of the interests of a strong free people. Noble Drew Ali. Now, the publication of your nationality was to be put in that paper. This is the reason why COINTELPRO member Grand Cheeks shut down Noble Drew Ali's paper. That's why you see all these temples, but you don't see no newspaper, do you?
Yep, no, and this is why, this is another thing.
That's what the paper's for.
Exactly.
That's what the paper's for, on top of other things, and keeping communication amongst the Moors. So I'm just making you aware of the work that needs to be done, but the major issue in law is not necessarily whether you filed with the county or anywhere else. The issue is publication.
Public announcement. Public announcement, yes. And this is what the Emancipation Proclamation was about. It was to emancipate yourself and proclaim who you are. This is it's not a law, it's a public announcement. So like Brother Taj just was saying, we need people's support to put the paperwork out. We had the El Moroccan Star out, we had the Silver Alert newspaper out, but it was not being supported by the people. Again, the false pride. We're looking for someone else to deliver us. And I'm looking at the churches now. It's like we'll flood the churches with masses of dollars. You know what I mean? Like Creflo Dollar, which is his name, Creflo Dollars.
No, his mama didn't give him that.
Remember, in the United Nations Charter, all of the civic organizations and the churches, etc., were given information and were given the instructions to dispense the information on these people's right to nationality. That can be proven. But apparently they're not doing the job either, are they?
Yeah, exactly. Wow. Well, we got to take some more callers. Santosh, we have any
Taj,
more callers?
I have a quick question.
Okay.
So, in proclaiming your nationality, is it advised that people really start going back in their family tree and looking into these genealogy records and tracing these surnames?
See,
and the reason why I ask that,
the surnames, most of the surnames belong to Europeans by virtue of ownership, by transferring. See, because the major issue of the Inquisition operations in the Western Hemisphere was to get our people to start buying and selling in the mark and the number of European names by which they would automatically be declared wards of the state. And while your birthright is locked up in those names, you understand that when you transact business in them, you are actually called abandoning your birthright, and thereby being automatically held to a wardship status incapable of receiving an inheritance by which the corporate states claim by legal process what they call as cheating, meaning that there is no what you call qualified person to receive inheritance. And this is the basis upon which they created the birth certificates and the marriage license, etc., as filed in the Department of Orphans. So our interest is understanding our bloodline.
Okay, and I should ask, I came across a book some time ago by Paul Hynek. It's titled like the Free People of North America. Free People of North Carolina, South Carolina, Maryland, and Virginia. And it's interesting because it's about 500 pages, and it outlines all of the surnames, and then it talks about the church warden and a particular government of that particular state that actually, made the name change into, to place the brands on the people. So with that in mind, is it a situation where a lot of the people were just already here, or are some of these people that were brought from overseas, from Africa, whatever have you, would this happen with the church and the government changing the names?
The real deal is that the majority of the people were already here. And what they're doing is dispensing some information to satisfy curious minds when they know that actually that the corporate states were actually the slaveholders, and that when you talk about the state of North Carolina, Virginia, etc., they're private religious corporations under the popes of Rome having nothing to do with the land. If they were telling people the truth about their names, they would also tell them the truth about the land areas that also belong to them, and they would dispense and dispel of the corporate state as having any so-said authority whatsoever to determine the bloodline of anyone. As a matter of fact, they're the foreigners, and they need to go home.
Right. Take the Plymouth Rock and go home.
Say it again, because some people
take Plymouth Rock and go to hell home.
Some people are afraid, and I did this on radio, TV shows when I was in Detroit, and his brother looked at me like I was crazy when I said, when I asked them for their citizenship, well, who made them citizens? You know what I mean? He looked at me. It was a brother, so-called black. He looked at me like, what the hell Sabir is saying? I said, no, you go home. Where's your paperwork at? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So we have to start like educating again the so-called Mexicans, the Latinos, and let them know that you are already home. This is your land.
Yeah, they home.
You know, there's a movie. Yes, go ahead.
Sabir, last year or the year before last, some of the Mexican brothers, you know, they deal with this immigration thing. They used they asked for permission to one of the Boricán brothers to use my book Moors and Mexicans to counter some of the misinformation. They used my book on TV in New York, in Harlem. The Mexican brothers did. They know who they are, and they know who we are.
They know who they are. Yeah.
This is how we get down. Yo, this is how we do in the East Coast. I'm telling you, I love the East Coast, but I'm in the West Coast right now.
Hey, Brother Sabir. Brother Sabir, Dad. Hey, we talked about it briefly last night. Remember I mentioned the Peach Wars, and you asked me to go into it? Because you was asking about
hold on, Brother Hannibal. Hold that off on that, because we run up against time. Let's take these callers, because I know people's on the line that has questions.
Okay, now, caller, did you have any other questions?
No, I'm all set. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
let's try to when we get these callers on, let's try to get them on, ask the question, and get them off. Let's not have them hanging on. Just say, okay, thank you, boom, and keep it moving. Next caller. Welcome to Civil Alert.
Caller 219.
Coming. Anybody on? Okay, let's keep it moving. Let's go. Your next caller.
Those are all the calls. We have people online, but those are the ones that raised, so we could just move forward.
Okay, go ahead, Brother Hannibal. You know what's funny? Before we get started, hold on. Let me say this before we get started. Some people, this is what this forum is about. No question will be stupid. I know some people, and from my experience in doing radio, are, they don't like the way they sound on radio. They don't want to call in because they're not sure. This is your opportunity right now. So I don't want to hear anything else after this about the Moors are doing this and, this person is doing this or they anti-anything. Here's your chance right now to call in, because this is why we created this forum, so people can call in and stop with this back and forth internet gangster stuff, or whatever they want to call it. This is your opportunity.
Caller
to call.
267, you're live on the line. Welcome to Civil Alert.
Hello.
Yes, welcome to Civil Alert, brother. Where you calling from, and what's your name?
Philadelphia, PA.
Philadelphia, peace, brother. What's your name?
Marcus.
Marcus?
Yeah.
Hey, Marcus, what's going on? You have a question or comment to any of us?
What's going on, Sabir? What's going on, Taj?
Hey, it's all right.
I'm doing good. I've been coming to a couple classes and stuff with Taj and everything, learning some stuff about, Moorish science and Moorish history. I just had a quick question for Taj. It was about the Moorish science. I was speaking to someone that was a Hebrew Israelite, and they made the comparison of Moorish science being, the cosmology being wrong due to it being sent down from fallen angels from heaven. I just wanted you to clarify that for me.
No, thanks a lot, bro.
Wait a minute, hold on. Run that again.
I was speaking to someone that was proclaimed to be a Hebrew Israelite, and he said that the cosmology, the Moorish science, was like similar to devil worship because it was given to the people from the fallen angels after the war in heaven. I just wanted a clarification on that.
All right. Well, let me say this before you, let me say this before you go into it. I'm gonna let you know now. like I said earlier, I gave you my qualifications. I'm a patriarch, or you say father. I'm a grand priest. So I'm what you would call a magi. Our ancient symbol was what you call the six-pointed star, but the ancient Lemurian name for it was Ab-Ab. I won't get into that another time, but the point is this. Remember when I said we're going to take this conversation 360 degrees. Remember I said we got agents in the movement, and people are getting paid to keep confusion. You didn't hear them coming at the Moorish Temple over something 20 years ago. Now, for one, the word Hebrew means, what was it, the ones who crossed over? You know what I mean? And then two, yeah. And then two, you know, again, and this is why I don't get no credibility, no Asiatic that's looking like me that don't have a nationality. Law one of nature is to know thyself. This was in the Matrix. And that was the sign that was always over the temple when you went into the Kuntis, or you call the pyramids. And that's the first law of nature. Second law of nature is self-preservation. But you're breaking the first law, which is God law, you know, not knowing yourself. So how the hell are they going to sit there and tell you about God and all this, and that person can't even tell you their nationality? You understand what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is this. All you conspiracy people, and I'm coming because I'm also a PI, badge carrying, ID carrying. I used to do that, work for law office, PI, you know, as a paralegal also. So all I'm saying is all you conspiracy people, and you know the track record of what agent provocateurs do and what they look like. All I'm saying now, use what you do have, unconscious Asiatics and conscious Asiatics. And no, those individuals are agents to keep you confused and to keep you from this movement. Now, I'm going to answer Brother Sabir's thing. He texted me while we were talking real quick. I'm going to be quick about it. There were 5 key people that had took Noble Drew Ali's lessons. They were in the Adab chamber. Out of the 5, 4 of them became millionaires. The only person that didn't take advantage of it, his name was Charles Mosley Bey, who we know as CM Bey. He went and finished some of the other detailed work that Prophet Drew Ali had done. He took and formulated the Moorish American National Identification Card, which is your nationality card, and your Clocks of Destiny, 2 little volumes, and your Zodiac Constitution for the Moors. He registered it with the Justice Department under Truth A1 and is registered in the Library of Congress under AA, that's AA, 222141. And when he did it, guess who the people who came to him to try to get him to do like all the other people we basically discussing that sell the hell out? The people that call themselves Jews. They took him to their bank, opened the vault, and told him he can have all the money in this thing if he could just pull it off the Justice Department, the Clocks of Destiny, or their Constitution, and his Moorish nationality card. Told him to pull it off the registry. He said, no, I have to free my people. I can't do it.
See what I'm saying?
He had the NSA, the FBI coming down his throat. He had to burn a lot of literature. He had to burn, because they were saying, guess what they were saying? He was breaking national security. Now, I'm going to name some of the other people, too. You can do your research. These cats were a part of the Moorish Science Temple.
Psychology.
Father Divine, Prophet Cherry, Daddy Grace. And the other one, we knew him as Elijah Poole Bey. Do your research and find out who that was.
Elijah Muhammad.
See what I'm saying? So what we
I didn't say it, you said it.
Yeah, but it's all psychology. This is what I love about this. It's like these things have, I'm pretty sure it happened with Brother Taj. I know it happened with me. Would you accept this up here to go this way? And people don't understand this movement and why the support for this movement. I heard so many people saying that these Moors were jailhouse Moors, these people coming out trying to rob people. That's not what we do. But we have literally went broke trying to help our people. And this is what happens to guys like Ivan Van Sertima, Sheikh Ata Diop, Dr. Ben, which is in a hospital right now, and no one's going to support these people. This is why we need the support to keep these things going. And so I stepped away. I'm going to tell you, I stepped away from radio because it wasn't really beneficial, you know, and it was making me lose everything. But now I came back with the help of Santasha because I was going to do more so dealing with film, putting it out there visually so people can see these things. We need to have that. Like Todd said, that is part of the press. Our films are part of press. These radio shows are press. This is what we do. We have to have, and it costs. Sorry to say, it costs in this day and time.
And as we were saying earlier, we have to keep in mind how serious this is, because the heirship of this land involves a lot of people's interests. Because remember, for those listeners out there who would doubt it, go look up Senator Traficant, who they have in jail. And that's a European. And he tells the people bluntly that the United States exists in name only. It's over. And the point of it is, the heirs of the estate need to wake up. In other words, our people are the wealthiest people on the planet, and yet they're living the poorest lives in the Western Hemisphere only because they don't know the truth about themselves and their lost estate. And logically, when you begin to wake up, you're going to have people coming from all kinds of angles trying to keep you asleep, Dorothy.
Thank you. Matrix. Let me drop this on you real quick. A lot of people don't know that Great Seal that you keep talking about, worship, just all devil worship, that's all crap. Who was responsible for putting that money on there? Brother Sheikh Sharif Abdul Ali, who you know is Noble Drew Ali. He resurrected the Moorish government. Then he set up the Moorish temple in 1913. Remember, when you got people that's a nation, they also have a government and seal and flag. You know what I mean? And he was responsible, and he got both your seals on there. Hold your dollar bill out, put your thumb on the eye, flip it, and you'll see both the seals. You'll see the Great Seal, and then you'll see the Circle 7. See,
and Hannibal,
here's another thing. Here's another thing. And this is my beloved president. I got to verify this myself. Because somebody had put me in with Black Famous 33rd Degrees on the website. It's kind of a little bit. But anyway, when Brother Obama got voted in, remember, he's from Hawaii by way of Chi-Town. When he first got voted in and he had that meeting with all those governors, where did he hold that meeting? He held it in Philadelphia, but where and what building? Nobody peeped this. Only the conscious Moors knew this. Don't answer it, Brother Sabir. Don't answer it, Father. He held it in the House of the Continental Congress, and he had stated it began here and it's going to end here. Nobody knew what the hell he was talking about. Because you ran the Continental Congress.
Exactly.
Everybody now know it was a Moor that was the first president. Do you know 20 years ago when my father pulled that list of all the 8 presidents before George Washington, and we were telling the people, they were looking at us like we were crazy, like we took LSD. Now I'm happy 20 years later, the common people know him. John Hanson, he was a Moor. And the flag that flew along with the Moroccan flag was the continental flag, the red flag with the white section in the far right left corner with the green cedar tree. That was the flag that all of Moors here in America used, and the seal that went with it is the Great Seal. That's on your dollar bill. And the cherry tree that George Washington chopped down was your Moroccan flag. He had to go to the government and ask them. They tried to play stupid and block him to go get it out the vault. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Natasha.
Yeah, speaking of the Great Seal.
Go ahead, Natasha.
Yeah, speaking of that Great Seal,
hold on, Taj. I got it. You know, we're doing this on the phone right now, so let's one at a time. Natasha, you go. She had a question.
Yes, Hannibal, what you were saying about the Great Seal, can you please share with us the connection between that and what they would call historically the Mound Builders?
Yeah, again, it was funny. Yeah, it was funny. I was just mentioning that to Brother Sabir. We was rapping. And I tell a lot of people, because I'm very proud of the tribe that I'm from my father's side of the family and my mom's side of the family, you know, and on Youngwea, that Europeans called us Cherokee. So I'm full-blooded. But I used to always be around Shemnites. Yeah, my father told me that's the real name. And amongst us Moors, we know. The people that's perpetrating and calling themselves the Native Americans are very fair. Their real name is Shemnite. And I'm like, all right, if you claim to be the real people, how come in all the Native American history you can't tell no more detailed history of the Mound Builders? And all you got, if you do research it, is a little paragraph that said they built mounds that was kind of like an upside-down pyramid into the ground and put their wealth or whatever, and they were very dark-skinned Native Americans. All that's saying is that they were Moors. Because, see, here's the key. You got to remember, and this is why I was kind of a little bit angst, I think it was about a year ago or less than a year ago, the so-called Cherokees that had kicked off some Asiatics out of their tribe, some kind of junk that was in the news. And I had addressed it and said, you know what, they bogus. But I'll tell you this, they're paying their karma, because believe me, Father broke down the Circle 7 laws. We'll go into that another time. But one of the laws is cause and effect. Now, I'm going to point to them and give you the overall history so you can understand what happened with them. They are paying their debt for help selling you the hell out. That is not a reservation they're on. That's a goddamn concentration camp, but it was their reward for help putting you into slavery. Now, the reason why they got a lot of high ass, they got the highest alcoholism and the highest suicide rate. Why? Because they got this secret sorrow in their heart for helping the Europeans putting their fathers and mothers into slavery.
And
they're paying for that karma. They're paying for that karma, just like we're paying for our karma. When we created our children, the hybrid Moors, who you called Europeans, we broke God's law and enslaved beings. We were supposed to do that. And in these scriptures, you'll find that God said, I will erase you from the planet. And damn near weren't we thrown into the dust. And now we're the mothers and fathers. We sleep connected to the matrix, and they ruling. But also, because we were the God race, we also foretold that, yeah, we will fall, but we will also rise again. So as we were falling, I'm giving you an overruled ancient history, be another subject another time. We gave secrets, trusted secrets to some Europeans. So they held the keys too, and this is where your Freemasonry come from. The Freemasonry is actually based off of our old Lemurian, or you may call Moabite, priesthood that I just told you I'm a part of. The outsiders of our faith, y'all called us the Magi. So they had held the secrets, and this is why the Europeans that are Masons, they implemented what you know as Islam, and you can't get to the Islam until you're a 32nd degree. And then remember, there's still one more degree, so that means there's more truth. But then they get their Fez and their Islamic name or Moorish name, and they get the Holy Quran, so the Bible is no longer being taught now. But they were entrusted with it because why? They already know that it is foretold one day y'all going to have to wake up and you're going to have to claim the planet back. Joali said, we are the mothers and fathers of civilization, and yes, we are. The ancient scriptures of the Holy Corpus have stated, you're the Lemurian race, you're the God race. All the secret metaphysical orders know who you are. They say you in different names. They call you different names. They would literally say your true purebred name, which is Lemurian. But they call you the elder race or the God race. There's different coded names. And, yeah, Stonehenge in Europe, guess what? Them Europeans erected that in honor of you. It was a Lemurian prophet. It was a Lemurian prophet named Absaris. He was a Lemurian, and he gave the sciences there, and they erected that in honor of him. The only reason why you got the slabs left over because when the Christian Crusades came in, they burnt the wood part that made it the whole. That had completed the whole temple.
Wow. Let me real quick, right? I met a brother out in California, and we just happened to be in the store. His wife is from Hindustan, which is India, or Bharat. Yeah. That's what the name is called. It's not India. And we started discussing about the Moors. He seen my hat. He asked me, was I Moor? And I was like, yes. He said, are you teaching our people? And I said, sure. It took him 15 to 20 minutes to figure out who I was because I had a hat on my head. He said, oh, shoot, you're Sabir. And he said, I watch Taj. He said, I love Taj. He said, I love what y'all doing. So when you run across people like that who sees your videos and say, wow, I like y'all guys, y'all bringing it, because it's always, if it's not Taj, it's Sabir, and it's Sabir and Taj coincide with one another. This is what they say. So we build it. He said he went to college overseas in 1984. When he first got there, he may be listening. He said that when he went there, he's looking on the application to fill in African American or black. He said on the application it said Moor. Now this is over Europe. Now he said this is an application for his school. So he said an elder pulled him to the side. He said the elders call us Moors over there. He said the elder said, I'm going to give you something. I'm going to want you to study this. He gave him the history of the Moors over there. So this is how deep this thing goes. It's nothing that we're making up. And all you doubt sayers, please call in. We got another half an hour. We got to come up on a break, right?
We got about 10 callers, y'all. Okay. So
okay, let's get in the callers. Let's get in the caller before we go to this break. You want to go to the break first? We have time for break?
We got about 30 minutes. There's about 10 callers. So if you're ready, we can just move forward.
Let's move forward. Yeah, let's move forward with the callers. All right.
Okay. Caller 913, you're live. Welcome to Civil Alert.
Islam,
caller 913. Islam.
Can you hear me?
Islam.
Islam.
This is Michelle of Kansas City. It's a pleasure to speak to you all. I have about 3 questions, if I can. One is, do we need to be formally adopted by the Prophet and registered in Chicago to nationalize?
Okay. Another one?
Okay. If we are the law, does the United States Code overrule us being the law? And the other one is, my understanding is that Masons are to be of secrecy, so I'm wondering how we can be both.
Okay, let's break this down. Okay, let's break this down. Taj can answer the first one. I can answer the second one, and Hannibal gets to answer the third one, if you want to do it that way. You all right with that?
All right. Repeat the first question for the people.
Okay, do we need to be formally adopted by the Prophet and registered in Chicago to nationalize?
Now, very clear. Nobudrali said, from the ancient pharaohs of Egypt, we received permission to occupy, to dwell, and to claim this part of the land, northwest, central, southwest of Mexum, which is now northwest, southwest, central, old Africa, which is North America, Central America, South America, and the islands, including Mexico, etc. Now, what does that have to do with Chicago?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, what's the second one? Now, what's the second one?
Okay. If we are the law, does the United States Code overrule us being the law?
Okay, now, this is Sabir. Now, I'm glad she brought that up because codes, rules, regulations, and statutes does not apply to us. We had our own code. We had our own codes of law. If you look at, for instance, the Catholic Church, what I said earlier, they have their own laws. They have their own rules. They're not subject, even though they're on the same land, they're not subject. This is when jurisdiction comes in. Even in courts, when you have subject matter jurisdiction, they have to determine what court has jurisdiction. Being on this land don't mean that you're subject to someone else. The only way you can be subject if you're property. So of more as being conscious, we are not subject to that unless we subject ourselves on, voluntarily. And they do these things by basically contracts. It could be verbal, it could be written verbally, but being as though, and Brother Taj could bounce off of that because he knows we can go in and out of those contracts being conscious. But no, codes, rules, regulations does not apply to us, only if we subject ourselves to that. Like I said, you can use the example of the Catholic Church. Right here on this land, they can kill somebody, run into a Catholic church, and the police cannot go in there. They have to wait till the church puts them out. See what I'm saying? So being here does not make you subject. It's only if you contractually go into that with them. And this is what people have to clearly understand it. Now, property is subject to them. This is why the 14th Amendment says all persons born or naturalized is subject to the jurisdiction.
Yes, that's 14th Amendment person.
Exactly, 14th Amendment persons.
Americans are not.
Exactly, and anybody in corporate law will understand persons in business persons in corporate law is a business.
Artificial construct.
Yeah, it's a business. But that's why they use the term. They use the term person all the time, person, but never clarify what person. Are you talking about a natural person? I mean, just don't take Sabir's word for it. I want people to Google these things. Look it up. Get an online dictionary. I would always tell people to purchase one. Look it up, and then you'll see the difference. And this is what these false prophets don't want you to know. They thinking that because you're here, you're subject to it, and you're not subject to those things. Look up what a code is. Look up what a regulation is or a statute is, and you will see it for yourself.
Those are the government employees in check. That's what the codes are.
Exactly. Okay, now what did you say, sister?
I was wondering if I can ask you a question on that.
Okay, well, go ahead real quick.
If we're using the codes and affidavits and getting benefits that way, and that makes us still not subject to those codes?
That's contractual. We're going to have a show on it. Like I said, we just started this. But, sister, reach out to me. You can email me or you can just reach out to me at 1-888-495-5600. 4452. But we trying to get this show, back on track. Because this is what I used to talk about when I used to have my show. I would literally explain these things to people, and I do have DVDs on my website.
Okay.
With a lot of these things on it under Sabir-bey Productions. Brother, you have a third question, sister, real quick, because we have some more callers.
Okay, my understanding about the Masons, are they of secrecy, so how can we be both Masons and Moorish Americans?
Well, there's not secrecy, and again, that's them imitating you. As I just said to you, they are imitating what you have left for them. And you must understand this. Anything that is of Eastern philosophy, when the Europeans get their hands on it, they westernize it. They always throw church in it. No different if somebody was following the brother that had passed, what was his name? Sai Baba. Yet he is not a Christian, and he was, of India, but anybody that wrote books on him, and they were European disciples or whatever, they always throw their Christian beliefs in it. All right? So now, here's another key thing you can understand. When you hear or read the literature of Freemasonry, they always make sure they tell you that they're speculative Masons. And what my father and I teach you, Moors, is you are the operative Masons. All right? Now, let me give you ancient history real quick, and this is from an ancient scriptures that the Europeans,
real quick,
the church had. I'm just going to qualify this real quick.
Okay.
The Holy Scriptures was called the Holy Corbett, and they burnt this literature. Now, what you must understand, when the ancient prophet Osiris traveled around the world to set up the Magi priesthood, he also brought industry. So now anybody who knows the Moorish history know that we were great builders. All right? So we not only brought the metaphysical, this term total cities around, we built cities and all. So when you fell as a nation, remember, they were still ignorant. They were starting to come into reading. And what people don't also know, what me and my father was talking about a couple of weeks ago, the term Renaissance man, if you look at the time period that they were using at, 300 years prior to that, it was actually termed Moorish Renaissance man. So anyway, as you were falling, they were rising. So as you were the gods and you went to sleep, remember now, they're coming across literature and stuff that they really can't decipher. So, but the actual physical, beautiful things that you left was the beautiful edifices. So them trying to resurrect what was left that you had against them, they formulated Freemasonry, and they just associated you with just building the buildings, but they knew you were a secretive priesthood, and you taught metaphysical stuff just as well as you built big temples and synagogues and what have you. That's the quickest I can say to you real quick so you can understand that. But it's not secret. Freemasonry is a system of morality, veiled in allegory, illustrated by signs and symbols. And if you're part of Moorish Science Temple, are there not the adept chamber? Your adept chamber was your Moorish rite of Freemasonry. It went dormant once they killed off Tarik. Wow. I found out people snuck in the country when he got raised as a Mason. We talking kings and queens and stuff. I found that out once I had finally got in. Got secret that nobody was discussing outside of it. And even the Moors didn't know. And a lot of the elder Moors, they went to the grave with it. Now, shut up. Yo, go ahead.
Oh, wow. We got some more callers. But see, hope we answered all your questions, sister.
Let's talk a little bit to help. Let me give a little bit on the tail end of that to help. Sis, look at the symbol of ISIS. Look at the symbol of ISIS and her son on her knee, Horus. And then look at the duplicate of that symbol as Mary and Jesus, and understand that ancient principle goes back millennia far beyond them, and the study of the culture supersedes them is called mother and son, ma, son, and the study of masonry. That's what it is.
Wow. Thank you, Brother Ty. We answer your question, sister?
Yes, you did. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. And let me do this for the record before we go into our next caller. Don't try to call in 90 seconds before the end of the show and say that you, or be in the chat room saying you try to get in. This is your chance right now to call in right now. Any questions to any three of us that's on here. This is not a one-time thing. We're going to keep Civil Alert going. And like I said, at the end, we can talk about donating. You can always go to my website, Sabir-bey Productions, or Sabir, me at SabirBey.com if you just want to donate, advertise. We do all these things. Next caller, Santasha. Who we have?
Yes, caller, 773. You're live on Civil Alert.
Hi, this is Kim from Chicago.
Peace.
Can you hear?
How you doing? Peace, sis.
Hi, peace. My question is pretty simple. I am I'm in the conscious community, and I associate with a lot of people in the conscious community. And during that, I've run into some Moorish Americans. I went to a couple of classes, which was very interesting, and I learned a few things. But to be honest, it was so filled with so much knowledge that it kind of threw me, and I was wondering, like, is there somewhere where they start off with the basics, you know, for someone who is almost like a baby learning some of the principles and laws? It did it sparked a lot of curiosity when you start talking about nationality and being African American or Black American, and you know, here, you know, you come from, you want to know where you actually come from, and let's see, how can I say this? My father was a Mason, and so the principles that he raised us are very similar to the Moorish Americans. So that kind of also like opened my eyes to, okay, finding out more about it. But to be honest, when you speak about some of the laws and principles and the history, it's so, how can I say it? It's a lot of information. So basically I'm asking, is there somewhere or a school or somewhere where you can learn like the basic and kind of, you know, teaching, you know, the basics of so you can learn it more better, understand it?
Yes, and brother, real quick, I need to do this. We got to keep moving because our time is getting limited.
Let me address.
Because Taj gets class. Go ahead, Brother Taj.
Sabir.
Yes.
Sabir. Get her number, etc., and we'll make sure that she gets her basics. Who are the Moors? Moors defined, and understanding, addressing the Moorish movement. That's what she needs.
Okay, let me get this number out real quick, and she can reach out and leave a message on the chat with the sister Santasha because she has the computer. Yeah. Also at 1-888-495-4452, or you can go to SabirBeyProductions.com, and there's some stuff that's up there. Again, that's SabirBeyProductions.com. And also, I'm on Facebook. I don't even know. You know, I'm on Facebook also under Sabir Bey. But what it is that we
that for me? I'm sorry.
Say it again.
Sabir Bey. You said Sabir. I'm not for sure how you.
SABIRBEY Productions.com.
Okay.
That's you can Google it, YouTube it, everything is up there. You'll get the some of the basics of like what Brother Taj was saying. And we open for lectures also, so reach out to us. We're always here. This is what we do. We've been doing this for a while, so we always trying to get people to, because it's always new people coming in. This information. We actually did a documentary I did on Noble Drew Ali called The Prophet of the People with my brother from Turtle Gang. Yeah, and that's up there. This is the first time this has ever been done. It was a documentary. Mos Def is in there, Africa Bambaataa in there, C. Freeman, Brother Taj, Dr. Ali Muhammad. You have a host of people in this documentary, which is the first time has ever been done. You know, the trailer's on YouTube. If you go to Sabir Bey's promo, you'll see the trailer, but you also can order it. And this is what we do. But Noble Drew Ali said it takes finances to build a nation. So the sister was speaking about schools. We need finances. We need people to start helping. Now, we're not like charlatans. We don't go out and trying to sell paperwork to people. We're trying to get people involved in what we're doing.
You know, the one where I went for a lecture, I know they were speaking of it used to be a school, but they lost a lot of funding, and now they have, like, lectures there. But a lot of times you can't really get the information of when the classes are, and, you know, it's not as accessible as I
know exactly what you're talking about. But we can learn a lot from our so-called Mexican brothers and sisters. I'm going to tell y'all. We can learn a lot from them because they know where to put their money at. Like right now, Jay-Z and Kanye is in California. Their ticket's probably like $150. Seriously. But people will donate. They'll pay for that. See what I'm saying? But what we got to do is flip it in from entertainment to edutainment. Make it educational. So thank you, sister. We got to move onward. We have some more callers. Santasha. Thank you, sister.
Yes.
Daddy, definite.
Greetings. Welcome to Civil Alert. Caller, you're live. 954.
1 in the evening. Okay.
Yes, peace. Welcome to Silver Alert. Where you calling from? What's your name?
Peace.
Hello? Okay, Santasha, clicking. Let's move. We can't hear him.
Caller, you're live on Silver Alert, 661.
Hey, grace and peace. This is Frank Sabir. How you doing?
Hey, Frank, what's going on, brother? How you feeling?
I'm great. Hey, Taj, I really respect your teachings. I've learned a lot of things. I'm kind of piggybacking on the question that the last sister said, but I won't, dwell on it because I've got Sabir here in California where I can get with him. But I'm a structured type of person, and you all teach, like she said, a lot of information overload. And I'm looking also for an ABC 1, 2, 3 so that, it will be implemented in my mind and construct. The other person talks about how to nationalize or proclaim yourself. But there was a question was asked, Brother Taj, about the military authorization bill and how would that affect us. You answered it, but it was kind of like over my head because I know that the Obama administration did do this last week. They want to, put police out on the military on the street, and they can assassinate you. They can do all this kind of stuff at their whim. How are you all protected, as the question was again, from this being sovereign, being nationalized? I'm not. I'm learning, but that's really interesting for me because that's where I am in my mind. I'm thinking, man, I need to get, I need to do this, but I need to do it comprehensively. You understand? So I'll take your answer, off the line or whatever.
Yes, but real quick, remember most of their target is the middle class Europeans who are the new niggers who are about to rebel against their government when they themselves are in fact the United States and not the sovereign people of the land. And when they disagree with their government, then they're in a state of insurrection, and that's what that's about.
So like what you guys are talking about, identifying the difference between the United States corporation and the sovereign United States of America. The Moorish sovereigns.
Now you got it. There you go.
So, but what I'm saying is that you don't think that that's not a threat against the corporations, and they want to silence, like you talk about that?
Well, that's why I say look at TravelCon. They already told you that the corporation exists in name only. It's dead. It's done. And what they're doing, they've got de facto operatives that are actually been trying to overthrow the government. That's who you see in power right now. They're a threat to everybody, including the world. Why do you think China and India and the different nations are starting to cash in all their bonds?
The other thing, a question, and once again, what happened to? You see what happened to Libya? You see what happened to Egypt? Gaddafi was about to, he had $100 billion worth of gold. He had the deepest water.
Yes, you already know. In other words, what you'll see, you know what it is, and I know what it is. It's the fight of the U.S. corporation of the Jesuit order and Britain trying to rule for another 100 years because it's over for them. And so they're doing desperate means all around the world to suppress and overthrow governments. This is why they attacked Libya, because China had technicians in there, and Libya, as well as other African nations, are going to be doing business with China and India, etc. And that the attack on Libya was really an indirect attack on China.
On China,
wow.
Right.
Okay,
so
thank you, brother
that,
Frank. We gotta move forward. We got.
Keep moving forward. Keep moving forward.
Next caller, Santasha.
Go ahead.
Santasha, we got a next caller because we got 15 minutes.
Yes, greetings. You're live on Silver Alert. Caller 301.
Hey, how you doing? This is Arlen Austin from Washington, D.C.
Hey, peace.
Brother. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, my question is, by joining the Moorish Science Temple, what was I expected to learn?
The truth about your nationality and your birthright and the enforcement of the Constitution and taking your place amongst the affairs of men, international law, logically, and restoration of your birthright and your laws to state.
Oh, okay. Well, a buddy of mine here in D.C., we both joined Temple 71. And we was there for at least a month. But, every weekend when we attended service, we basically, were singing hymns.
Wow.
And we pretty much didn't learn anything. So we
let me say this to you.
You're going to First Church. I understand, but this is back to the infiltration.
Yeah, but let me say this to you, that Brother Daoud Bey, he was another powerhouse that came out of Roundtable, my cousin. And he was implementing what Prophet Joe Ali said. Moors travel. So when you see that, don't get all listening, because I knew already when I heard your question, it didn't sound right, it sounded baited. Go to other different temples. But again, like my father just said, and what I kept saying, you got to realize now and start identifying these agents that's among you. You understand what I'm saying? So, but the key thing is, that's why you travel. That's why you travel. Go to different temples. It was no different than what I experienced back in the 90s when we were really going heavy and I started visiting other temples. And they going to ask me a baited question. So, Dr. Hannibal, what temple are you from? I said, wait a minute, hold on. I said, that's like me being a Jew going from Jersey to California, and I go find other Jews, and they're going to say, oy vey, what synagogue you brought? No, they recognize themselves as a nation. They say, shalom, brother, come on and break bread with me. I said, it doesn't matter with temple, but I put him in his hole. So I said, but I'm going to shut you down. We are a nation. We're not no little churchism or no little Ulaism, but I also showed my two daggone nationality card ID, whatever you want to call it, or dues cards from being a part of two temples. So I shut them down. But I said, but we are a nation. So the real reason why I'm saying travel is because different areas, they have different cultures in a way.
Okay, we got 10 more minutes. We got 10 more minutes, y'all.
Yeah, some temples will actually have the 3 holy books, the Bible, the Quran, and the Circle 7. And they may be more in-depth. So just travel, brother. Don't limit yourself and don't condemn them. Yeah. Just keep moving and being positive and then know what the prophet had said. First place I'm going to clean up when I come back is the temples. Now shut up, y'all. Go ahead and move on.
Thank you, thank you, brother.
Thank you, caller.
We got to move forward because we got 10 minutes, and unless they want to support and sponsor the next, we can go.
Caller, you're live.
We can do this for 3 hours.
Alert.
Greetings.
Peace. Real quick, brother. Question or comment?
Hey, greetings. It's Ross Marvin from Atlanta, Georgia. I just want to thank Adam and Sister St. Asha for inviting me to tune in tonight, and I've been enjoying the program. I have 2 questions. One question, same question in a way. And the question is, once we recognize that the United States is a corporation trying to take over the government of the United States, and once we recognize that the capital letters and so on and all these things and so on, is there any collective movement towards the Moors setting up his own government, or is it just an individual self-determination movement? I'm wondering if there's a heads of government of the Moors and everything else to reestablish all these things we're talking about, or is it best based in the sovereignty on an individual person?
Okay, thank you. Hold on one second. Hold on. Let me answer that too, and Todd can chime in on this because we got.
The government already exists.
It exists already.
Already exists. The distinction is back to teaching people fundamentals so they'll know the difference between rights and privileges, de jure, de facto, Constitution, fraud, republic, Democrat. You don't need to invent any new wheels. It already exists. What we've been suffering under has been the demo operatives of the deputy knights of the Jesuit order of the Barristers Association through England through the secret Treaty of Verona, as distinguished from the republic that was set up by Moors and a few deists who were like Ben Franklin, John Adams, etc. All of those Europeans were deists. They were not Christians. They were deists, and they studied Islam, and they studied the science of ancient Africa. The distinction that has to be made is first in the people's mind, because they're looking for something that already exists. The deal is that they have ignored it, and it is themselves. They themselves are the government. They need to know themselves.
Wow. Okay, thank you,
brother.
That's
what the Great Association of Moorish Affairs is for. That's the structure of government, going down from the Sultan to my father was the Emir, You know what I mean? We have all this functioning, but again, because y'all don't know, we get them agents that infiltrate, and they were a part of the movement bifurcating. And like I had said earlier.
Okay, Brother Hannibal, I don't mean to cut you, brother, but we're running against time, brother. We got callers on. I'm trying to get these callers off because there's other things. We only got 7 minutes, I think. Yeah, 7 minutes.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Thank you, we got to move on. What's the next caller?
Caller, you're live in Civil Alert, 404.
Hello?
Yes, real quick, brother. Question, comment, hit it, quit it. So we pushing up against the clock.
Hello. Yeah, I'm just calling to say peace and blessings to my godfather, my grand godfather, to y'all baby down here in Atlanta, Georgia.
What's up, Prince Emmanuel? That's my son, y'all. That's my son, Prince Emmanuel Terrell.
Oh, that's what's up, man. That's your son, Hannibal. That's what's up.
That's my oldest baby.
That's what I'm talking
about.
Prince.
I've been
Prince.
holding on. Oh, hey.
Thanks,
I've been holding on. I don't want to take up too much time, and I've been listening, and I just want to let Sabir know that I will be Facebooking him and the other sister that's on the line, too, because I got to get in touch with all my boys, brothers, and sisters, and I am busting heads down here, Godfather, just to let you know, and Grand Godfather, to put these people in their place down here. So peace and love, and God bless.
Thank you. That's what's up. Next caller, Hannibal's son. All right, that's what's up. Next caller.
Welcome to Civil Alert. You're live. Caller 562.
562. Welcome to Civil Alert. What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name is Amari, and I'm from Long Beach.
Hey, peace, Amari. How old are you, man? You sound young.
I'm 11.
That's what's up.
Oh.
You have a question or comment?
Right,
Yes. How do you know we're all Moors? Like, where's your proof?
Say that again?
How do you know we're all Moors? Where's your proof?
Wow, Taj, wow. He said, how do you know we are Moors and
that was the last legal name you had on the records. The government knows it. And like I had said earlier, the government
hold up, one at a
took
time,
your
y'all. One at a
flag
time.
down.
Taj, go ahead,
The
Taj.
government cut to the chase, real quick for the youth. Although there's more, for yourself, go to a dictionary, and you'll notice that black is an adjective, not a noun. You'll also notice that it's Middle English, which means it's not an ancient African word. Then you look right beneath it, and you'll see a compound word, black or more, and it'll tell you the persons who are called Negroes, black, African Americans, woman, child, man, dark-skinned person, any dark-skinned person. And as soon as you study ancient anthropology, modern anthropology and socialization, you'll recognize that Moor and African is used by sociologists the world over synonymously.
That's what I'm talking about. See, we even have the youth, and it's funny because I used to go to a grade school in Detroit called Inseroma, and I used to teach the youth this. And, like I said, this is not the last time we're doing this. Civil Alert is back on track. Please, people, support us. Hit me up on my Facebook, my website, the email. We going in. And I want to thank again the Zulu staff, Peace Up to Africa and Biden Zulu Nation, for supporting this program. Please support Dougie Fresh's Restaurant because, again, if you're in Harlem, what's the address, Santasha?
That's 132nd and 7th Avenue.
And it's called Dougie's. And actually, they have chicken and waffles for those that eat it. And actually, when Dougie was at the event, he also said if you come in there, and I'm going to actually probably text him or call him later on, he said when you come in and say Zulu, actually you get a free waffle. You get a free waffle when you come in and say Zulu. So he also have a vegetarian platter for those that don't He just opened up, and for the record, for those that don't know, his father Hannibal-bey Sabir-bey is his father. So he even is coming over to the science. We just recently seen Mos Def did a public announcement about his name correction. I don't want to say name change, but he did a name correction. So, like I said, a lot of these people are coming over to this program. How many more minutes we have before we get off the line?
We have 60 seconds, guys.
60 seconds, brother. I want to again thank Brother Taj, Brother Hannibal. This is not the last time we do this. We get ready because we got a host of other people coming on. I mean, I'm reaching out to Tommy Davidson again now. We got a lot of people coming up, you know, so it's going to be fire. So get ready. Civil Alert is back. And please support us. You know what I mean? Please, we need that support. Noble Drew Ali said it takes finances to build a nation. And Santasha, any closing remarks? Brother Taj or Hannibal, any closing remarks?
I just want to thank you all. And we still had a lot of calls, so then we may have to do a part 2.
Yeah, we got to do a part 2 to this, man. You know, we have to do. I mean, it gets flooded like that. I'm telling you, because this is the only place you're going to hear real talk. We don't cut no corners over here. So I want to thank everybody. You can read. This will be reposted up. Whatever Santasha do, her, you know, what she do with it. I want to thank her for always being there.
Peace.
Peace, love.
All right, peace. Have a good night.
Peace.
A great big expression of happiness, boy, you couldn't miss. With a dozen roses, such would astound you. The joy of children